Hello, welcome back to another comic flip video. Today it is Saturday, April 13th, and I will be talking about my top 3 polls from this week's New Comic Book Day, which was on April 10th, 2019. So it was a pretty solid week. These 3 that you see here are pretty much all on par, I'd say. So I'm going to start off talking first about Faithless by Brian Azzarello. Art is by Maria Llovett. Letters by End World Design. This is published by Boom Studios, and it is a #1 issue. So before we get into any type of spoiler territory, just I guess a brief overview. This book follows a main character named Faith. You first meet her. She's kind of a mess. She's into art and the occult. You follow her throughout her day. She has a brief conversation with her friends, or possibly roommates. And then it's basically about her encounter with this woman named Poppy and her adventures with her. So if you don't want to know any more than that, I suggest you fast forward this video to the next top pick. But overall, it's a really good issue. I always suggest picking up all the indie #1s just in case it becomes a TV show or a movie down the line. And I mean, with the writer being Brian Azzarello and the art being this good, I could definitely see this becoming something in the future. Hey, spoiler-free people, before you leave, just know that this is definitely a rated R comic book. You do not want to give this book to a child. Okay, ready? So this book, you're first introduced to the main character, Faith. She's in her room, which looks like a mess, and she has failed at masturbating. Then it fast-forwards to her sometime later. We don't know when. But she's at the Blue House coffee shop, and she's with a bunch of people who seem to be either her friends or roommates. We have Aya, who seems to be obsessed with online dating and ghosting people she's not really interested in. You're also introduced to Malcolm, who is this big fellow with orange hair, kind of also making fun of Faith, who is drawing some occult symbols in her journal. And you're also introduced to what appears to be the shop owner, Ginny, who makes herself clear that she's anti-ghosting people and anti-occult, and it's a brief scene, and they all leave, and they say, see you guys at home, so that makes me think they're possibly roommates. Then very quickly, Poppy is introduced. Faith knocks into her and spills coffee on her, and then all of a sudden Poppy just changes her shirt right out in public, which is kind of crazy. And then you're introduced to this other character named Michael, who is introduced as Poppy's ex, and from here things escalate very, very quickly. There is a conversation between Poppy and Michael that doesn't go too hot. Michael puts his hands on Poppy, and Faith steps in and is like, no, peace out. They head to a pool bar, and then they're basically flirting, and they look up on the TV, and you see Michael about to commit suicide by jumping off a building. So he jumps off the building. Poppy gives Faith a hug. Faith is crying, and then all of a sudden, Poppy puts Faith's finger in her mouth, which is pretty straightforward. And, I mean, rightly so, Faith is kind of, like, weirded out by that. So Poppy is walking back and apologizing for it. And then she's just like, look, just forget about it, just buy me a drink, forget it ever happened. But Faith tells Poppy that she's broke, and then proceeds to pickpocket someone to make sure that they have cash. Then run back up to them and say, hey, you dropped your wallet, and then the person, being so thankful, gives her the money that she verified was in the wallet. So you kind of learn that Faith does not have the strongest of moral characters, and I mean, it's pretty clear that Poppy at this point doesn't either. She's constantly day drinking through the day. She has little remorse when her ex, a supposed ex, kills himself. So then we pick up at Poppy's place, and she's going through Faith's drawings of the occult, and she's like, oh, are you kind of an artist? Or is this like a cookbook? And she's like, no, I'm into art. And then Poppy shows her this wall of paintings of herself, which is super creepy. Apparently she's a muse for a famous, or was a muse for a famous artist. So basically to me, Poppy screams narcissist. And I don't even know if she's real at this point. So the last few pages, Faith thanks Poppy for this interesting day. And then Michael kind of comes up again, and Poppy completely brushes off that it ever happened. And she's like, oh, I have to go to a party downtown, you should come with. But then Faith is like, nah, I gotta shower. And she's like, okay, so shower here. They're drinking again, by the way, and also chain smoking is happening. So Faith goes in to take a shower, and of course Poppy comes in and is like, hey, I brought you this towel, which is just a stupid excuse, and they end up hooking up in the shower, and you get like 3 pages of shower scene, and then they're in the bedroom, you got a sex scene, and then the very last panel, it looks like Poppy is gone. Poppy is not a human being. Either Poppy is a demon, Poppy looks like she's made up of worms. It's a very disturbing image. I love it, though. The whole story is great. I got Fight Club vibes from this. I feel like Poppy is the cool version of Faith, or what Faith hopes she could be. There's a panel in the book where you see them side by side, and they kind of look similar. You know, Poppy's got the blue hair, bunch of piercings, changes in front of people, has a very loose moral code. I mean, we know that Faith has questionable morals as well. I mean, the whole book is Faithless, so it's probably going to be about Faith slowly becoming possessed by Poppy, or slowly getting deeper into the occult. There's a quote on the back that says, "The way you make love is the way God will be with you," from Rumi. Very interesting. Oh, and there's a suggested for mature readers on the book. I will definitely be picking up issue 2. Let me know in the comments below if you picked up Faithless, what you thought of it. I thought it was great, and the pacing was very well done. Check out my other 2 videos on Web of Venom and Cult of Carnage and Symbiote Spider-Man #1 if you're interested in learning more about those. Alright guys, see you in the next video.